Hi, my name's Stephen. I went X1 at locals with a spicy Telemans deck, and I'll take you through it now.
Stardust, Black Rose, no hope, life low. Alright, I'm set, I got my deck. I'm about to head to my homie crib next. I got a brand new combo with some tricks. I'm about to burn them for 8,000 quick. Got it on standby so you can't draw. Main face ain't shit, go to your school phase, that mean you lost.
Hi, boys. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe.
So I run 3 Telemans KASHTIRA. This is the best card in the deck. You can special summon it from hand during main phase by banishing a Telemans or KASHTIRA card from the grave or hand. You then get to mill 3 on summon from either the top of your deck or top of your opponent's. So it's like a Havness where you don't have to wait for the opponent to make a monster effect, so it's a brilliant card. I also play one of each of the main tier names. So when they go to grave, they get to fusion summon. I won't mention the effects, I'm sure everyone knows what they do. I run 2 Telemans Rhino Hearts.
The old team.
Yep, got one. But it's whenever it goes to grave, by card effect, you can special summon it, send another Telemans card, and it banishes itself at the end of that effect, which becomes relevant for something I'll mention later. I also play 2 KASHTIRA Fenrir. So the reason behind this is we can use it to search Telemans KASHTIRA, but we can also go into some rank 7 plays with Draco Sack and a few other things. I play 3 King of the Swamp, which is necessary because Kid Kalos has been banned, so this allows us to go into Real Kalos, Graph, various other fusion summons. Play 1 Diviner of the Herald. This is effectively a consistency card, so we get to send one of the millers, Guido or Kelbeck, to the grave. Also, you get that effect if you special summon it from the grave, so it's a useful card whenever you can draw poorly.
Cool.
Shaddoll Beast.
Oh, I wasn't expecting Shaddoll in this.
Not much to say about this, but it's when it goes to the grave, by card effect, you can draw a card. But if you are going second and your opponent commits to the board, and you've got Telemans KASHTIRA in hand, you can play it, mill cards. If you happen to mill this card and are able to fusion summon, you can drop a window on them and really disrupt their kind of turn 0. Happens very rarely, but it's quite cool. Then the 2 millers, so you mill 5 from each player's deck. It's really important for comboing off whenever you are working through.
Cool.
And now we get to the interesting bit. I play 3 Phantom of Chaos. So the whole premise behind my deck is that I'm looking to mill this card, Sky Scourge NORLERAS, to the graveyard, and then whenever I can summon Phantom of Chaos, I have the opportunity to banish NORLERAS from the grave to copy its effect. NORLERAS' effect is one of the most broken effects in all of the game. You pay 1,000 life points and then it sends all cards on the field and in both players' hand to the grave, and then you get to draw 1 card. With Telemans, so many of the cards will do things when they go to the grave, and therefore it's a +2, +3, +4, and your opponent's left with an empty hand. So if you can get this out, it's fantastic.
Spicy, spicy.
One other thing to mention is I also play Cyberstein. If you're unable to get Sky Scourge to your graveyard, but you mill Cyberstein, you can then copy its effect and summon Exterio, which is basically a better Naturia Beast. And that's brilliant because then you can link this off with Sprint because it's a level 2, and you don't even have to worry about having paid 5,000 life for using its effect and leaving it on the field. So it goes away, and then into the spells and traps. 3 Telemans Scream. Have to max out on this one because you really have to use as many milling effects as possible. So you've got Telemans KASHTIRA, you've got Shiren, you've got Scream. KASHTIRA has an effect when it goes to the grave to mill another 2. So there's limited ways to mill now that Kid Kalos is gone, so you have to max out on those where possible. 3 of the field spell. This will search whatever I need to make the play. If I need Telemans KASHTIRA, I can go into rank 7 or whatnot, I can get it. If I want to get a Kelbeck out of hand, I can go into Shiren and use its effect to discard. So this is just a massive consistency card, and good in the grind game as well because of the attack boost and being able to pop opponent's cards. 1 Pressured Planet Wraithsalt. Again, consistency. This gets the Fenrir, and the Fenrir, I'll mention in a moment, is a 1-card fusion summon. So it's a really useful card. I would play more if I had more space in the deck. You have to keep the deck to 40 because your mills are really important. So the exact ratio of cards in the mill is really quite critical. Terraforming to get whichever field spell you need at whichever time. 2 Foolish Burial Goods. I tried with 3, but 2 seem to be the right place. You can send Sully to search a monster, and you can also send, I'll mention this now, Trivi Karma. So Trivi Karma, I can banish that in order to add a card that mentions Visa's Starfrost, which is, I can add Scream or the Pearl Rhino field spell. You don't have to activate this when it goes to the grave. You can activate this whenever you want. So if you manage to use the NORLERAS effect to clear the field, I can then banish that after to add field spell, to make a summon, or to add follow-up. Foolish Burial, for really bad hands I can drop Kelbeck or Agido, and for the perfect hand I can hold this back, and then when I've got my board set up I can send NORLERAS to use the Phantom of Chaos effect. 1 Triple Tactics Talent. I try to play 1 in every deck because it's like a free pot of greed most of the time, and it doesn't brick too much if you have 1. The Polymerization for the King of the Swamp. 1 Monster Reborn. It's really important getting the Phantom of Chaos onto the field, but with normal summons like Rhino Heart and Diviner of the Herald, sometimes you have to commit to your normal summon to get rolling. So this can bring back the Phantom of Chaos or the Cyberstein or even a Fenrir to search. It's uniquely useful in this deck, I feel. 2 Sulik, it's a brilliant way of searching. If you mill a Rhino Heart and it's in hand, you can send it, add a monster to hand, so it's really useful. And 1 Telemann's Crime. This is really important now since you only have 1 of each of the main fusion monsters. So if you come up against Bestials, when this gets milled you can add that card back from banished. Similarly, if you end up using the Rhino Heart effect or use the Telemann's KASHTIRA effect to send maybe another Telemann's KASHTIRA, you can, when this gets milled, add that back and it gives you follow-up into a future turn. So also helps with evening match. Then going into the extra deck, I play 2 Kaleido Heart and 1 Will Kalos. I find the Kaleido Heart's really useful again when you've got very few names. If you mill names early and you don't have a way to fusion summon, or you don't want to fusion summon with them, then you need a way to get them back into the deck so you can build them later. So this can often send all the names that are in your grave back at the same time. So having an extra 1 in case KASHTIRA removes it, or in case you summon 1 and need another one, is really useful. Will Kalos is really. These are all really useful for the combo because if you summon these and then use the NORLERAS effect, they all special summon back. Your opponent will be left with nothing, but you have these on field and they still have their effects for future turns. This one is a really useful card. Ranguinol, it will send a level 6 or higher monster to the grave when it's summoned, so you can send NORLERAS directly with it. So with the Fenrir and the Telemann's KASHTIRA, you can go into Mecha Phantom Beast Dracosac. This card can detach a material to summon 2 tokens. Those tokens are level 3s, so you can go to Cherubini, which can send King of the Swamp as cost. And then Cherubini can work with the Dracosac. Well, you can link them up for Sprint to send them early to make this card. So when you run through that entire combo, if you have anything in hand which can put the Phantom of Chaos on the field or which can progress your plays further, it just gives you easy access to the NORLERAS you need. And then other cards are mostly for consistency. So for Dugaras, this allows you to special summon the Phantom of Chaos back from grave, or special summon a Cyberstein, or in really bad cases you can draw 2 and discard 1, because you might have a Kelbeck or an Agido or something else in hand that's a brick, and it can kind of kickstart your plays. When you special summon, you have to skip your next main phase 1, but that usually isn't a problem because if you complete the combo, your next battle phase you'll already have a monster on the field, and then your main phase 2 you can set up to deal with whatever that 1 card has done. Exterio, this is the Cyberstein target. Interestingly, it can negate and destroy any spell and trap card by banishing a card from the grave and sending a card from your deck to the grave as cost. It's not once per turn, so it pretty much locks out spell decks. It protects you from evenly matched. But the most important thing is, if you negate something and then they Kurikara it, because it wasn't properly fusion summoned, they can't summon it back. So you don't. It isn't like a big reversal where you lose the game. Time Thief Redoer. Very often you'll have use Sharon's effect and you'll have summoned a Rhino Heart or another level 4. So this allows you to fusion summon on their turn by detaching the Sharon as for effect. El Shaddai Winder. Goes without saying, turn 0 Winder. Can't be destroyed by card effects and stops your opponent from special summoning a lot. Grapha. This is probably my go-to summon if I'm summoning off the NORLERAS effect, so if I send like a Sheared on the field to the grave as part of it, because you'll draw 1 card, so you have the discard fodder, and it will protect you against any spells or any monster effects. Guardian Chimera. Fantastic for going second, because often when you use polymerization you will be using a Nagito or a Kelbeck or a Tearlament Name, something which activates, and you'll go Chainlink 1 Chimera, Chainlink 2 something else, and there's often not much your opponent can do about it. Also doesn't target when it pops, so it'll pop 1 or 2 and draw 1 or 2 depending on whether you're using cards from the field or the hand. This is probably the MVP of the extra deck, Dragon Up the Swamp. Whenever you're going for the combo, if your opponent has any idea what you're doing, they're probably saving an imperm for your Phantom of Chaos. So you'll bring out the Dragon of the Swamp early, call Dark, and then they can't imperm it anymore, and they're done. And then finally, Dragon Stapelia. In the instances where you have a Fenrir and 1 tier name, and you can get Phantom of Chaos out, because you won't have a King of the Swamp anymore after being shuffled, you will still have the Grand Green all going to the grave. So it's a fusion, Merly or whatever is the dark, and you can summon this as kind of the minimum board if you don't summon more. And that's what I played. I won't talk about the side deck. It was basically 15 cards to beat Kashtira. But yeah, that's
Stephen with his spicy Kashtira. What is it?
Well, I would say it's Phantom of Chaos NORLERAS Tearlaments.
Anything to say?
No, well, other than if you want to like have quick games, it's really good, because if you combo off, the game doesn't last much longer afterwards, and if you don't manage to do it, it also doesn't last much longer. So it's a quick variant of Tearlaments.
Thank you for the deck profile. Bye bye.